Live. Greetings, Hacksters. This morning we have a wonderful guest. We have Rongzhong Li, who is the creator of Bittle, a robotic dog that is currently on Kickstarter and over 3 times funded, probably more by now, as well as Nibble, the little laser cut wood one that you see there, a little cat that is derived from the Open Cat project that he first created. Welcome, Rongzhong. How's it going?
Hi everyone. So let me greet to with everyone. Greetings. This is Nibble and this is Bittle. They are brothers or sisters, and now they are all activated. Yeah. This is our new robot, Bittle. It's a little robot dog and powered by Reno, and you can also plug in Raspberry Pi to bring some more advanced AI to it. And later during our interview, I can introduce more and share more with you.
Awesome. So could you tell us a little bit about Bittle?
Yeah, Bittle is our second product based on the previous project called OpenCat. The first one everyone knows is the wooden cat Nibble, which was invented in 2018. I brought it to the public by the crowdfunding campaign on Indiegogo, and it was a successful campaign, and actually it helped a lot to support me and both the project. Because after starting this project, I basically stopped. Just became full-time on this, so I do need some financial support. So the sales of this robot is all that makes the following story possible. And so far, we have already spent all the earnings from the Nibble robot to the R&D for this dog. And it will include a lot of great features, and I love it a lot.
Oh, wow. So what did you continue in the design? So, for example, I know that you have designed both of these robots with a really cool type of design where you use interlocking pieces rather than using a lot of attachment, like hardware, in order to make them fit together and actuate. So could you tell us a bit about that? Isn't it based on Chinese architecture?
Yes. So in my design philosophy, I like to make sure that every piece is fitting perfectly without using too much screws. And I hate glue. So I think clever design is to make every piece is fitting together and interlocking with each other. For example, this is the wooden frame of Bittle, and you can, the Nibble, and you can see only the servos are fixed by the screws, but the whole frame is interlocking each other. And the same design philosophy continued on this chassis of Bittle. You see, it's a very sturdy case, and I can disassemble it within a minute. This is the cover, and this is the shoulder, one side. That's it. And I will show you my table. So you can see all these pieces will make the body frame, and assembling is also simple. Listen to the sound. I like the click sound
so
very
good.
much. Yeah. And I did put a lot of efforts in the precision control of this model. We fine-tuned the precision to about 0.01 millimeter.
Wow.
Listen. Yeah.
Oh.
I love the sound. Yeah.
It's so good.
So this is the body. And for the upper leg, I designed two symmetric or identical pieces. And to make an upper leg, just rotate it by 180 degree, and it makes the upper leg. And all this stuff put together, it will be the body of Bittle.
Wow. So this version is injection molded, but it's all open source, so people could, in theory, 3D print their own parts for it. Is that right?
Not yet. Actually, this project is not open on the hardware for now, but we do open source all the software. For the hardware, two considerations. One is the investment. So far, we have already put about 50K just $50K just in making the injection mold.
Wow.
And second is when I was designing this robot, I will show you. Yeah. This is the head when I was designing the prototype. And for the 3D printed structure, it doesn't meet the requirement of the material's strength and elasticity. So, and you can see the difference. This is the injection molded head. Listen to the sound. So it can hold the sensors very tightly, but with the 3D printed one, it will crack. Yeah. And another story behind this head. Initially, I designed this wolf head.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah. With the spring behind the head. But the problem is, if we consider to make a mass-producible product, this spring is very hard to deal with. So I tried some technology or design to avoid using any spring. Just use the structure to make it have a elastic structure, and it can hold a wide range of the sensors like this. You can put it in the mouth, and it will hold it. Yeah.
What all kind of sensors do you have in the head?
What else?
That looks like a groove module of some type.
Yeah. I also created one screw hole so that you can add some even smaller sensors and just screw in, then to make the head a hub for all the sensors.
I noticed on the campaign here, it's got a little bone in its mouth. Is that an actual piece, like for a sensor or an interaction, or? Oh, look at that! Here's the sensor in the mouth there. Yeah,
this is an intelligent camera module. We ODM'd this, and it can recognize multiple objects like a ball, a box, a card, or some numbers or colors, and it will return the recognized object with coordinates or symbols, so that this camera alone will make decisions. And these decisions will be sent to the motion controller board on Nibble and make it move around.
And so the motion controller board that you just mentioned, is that your custom Arduino that you have down here?
Yes, it's based on the Arduino Uno, or the same chip. But our my friend, he's an engineer. He basically used the name is 8Mega328P. That's the chip's name. He redesigned the board and added other assistive chips around the board. For example, PCA 9685, that's a servo controller board, and EEPROM for storing the instinct movements, and all the pieces are joined on this little board to control the motion of this robot. And you can consider this motion board as our little brain, which controls our motion.
It's like your little your motor cortex.
Yes, for balancing and for the working patterns, so that you don't need to think too much about it. You just send out the commands like work front, it will work front.
Cool. And then you also have completely custom servos.
Yes.
Here he goes. Yeah. So there's so much that's customized on this. Can you tell us about the servos?
Yes, these servos, I would say servo will be the key component on our robot. I think the first time when OpenCAD got popular was because people never expected that they could do quarterback working robots with cheap servos. And after I returned China, I visited a lot of manufacturers in Dongguan and Shenzhen to find the best parameters for these little servos. And I did got some experiences to decide how to optimize the parameters. For example, the traditional servos are having larger torque but very slow. So we tuned the speed to be faster, but with less torque, because in my design, it's such a light robot, so it can handle the weight. And also
Right.
we increased the range of these servos so it can do more complex motions rather than just on these angles, but it could rotate to this angle.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of improvements to allow more possibilities on this little robot.
It's also a kind of a distinctive shape. I'm not used to seeing servos that are this sort of slanted shape as much. They're much more sort of rectangular usually.
So you can compare this one, the servo on Nebo. This is a relatively traditional servo with the rectangle shape, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't look very well. So I want to make it thinner on the knees. That's why we reshaped the servo to make it shorter.
Uh-huh.
And it will look better on this.
It really does. It looks much more organic
Yeah.
and much more sort of integrated into the robot.
Yes.
It's incredible the amount of dedication to the aesthetics and everything.
Yeah. And to fine tune the servos, I even like 3D printed a tool to test it. So yeah, we both design the product and also design the tool to make the product.
Yeah, I remember in your nibble one, I'm looking for it in the tutorial here. Let's pull it up. It also shipped with a specific tool for calibrating servos.
We also made injection molded one.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, and it could be a little gadget because it has our logo on it. See?
Uh-huh.
Cool. I'm not sure whether I have a good one. Oh, by the way, last time I sent you the sample for Nebo.
Oh, yeah.
The first batch of samples, and we now have a much better packaging.
Oh, look at that! Wow.
Yeah, with all the boxes putting all the components. This is the box for servo, and accessories, and the circuit board, and on the bottom is the wooden pieces. And I find the professional manufacturer for these laser cut pieces. Before, you may not know, all the pieces were made by my hand.
Wow.
I need to cut from the huge board of wood and cut into pieces and paint and sand and paint.
Wow.
I did inhale a lot of dust during that process. I can smell it even when I'm sleeping.
That's dedication. Yeah. And I remember that with those laser cut pieces, you sort of pop them out, and you even designed it so that they have a little sort of half cut on these tabs that attach them to the panel.
And after we find this manufacturer, we did find a better solution. Now it's not half cut, but I don't know whether you can see the detail, but it's like you cut a line but leave something in the middle.
Oh yeah, like a little break.
It's not half, but in this direction, not in this direction. Yeah.
Oh, it's shiny now too.
Yeah, I made some UV coating on it.
Oh.
Smooth, yeah.
That's really nice. These are so incredibly engineered.
Yeah, and introducing our new robot doesn't mean we will stop supporting for this Nebo, because in the new design we will give out a lot of accessories that will be compatible for Nebo.
Oh, cool.
For example, this Bluetooth gadget, Bluetooth dongle, it can be connected to the tail of Bittle for sending Bluetooth signals. You can control it wirelessly from your PC or an app. And this can also be plugged on the bottom of Nebo. So you will be able to enjoy the extended functionalities for both models. And also for this battery. Where's my battery? Okay. Yeah, a lot of customizations, and that means a lot of money spent on this stuff. This is a battery. Because previously we shipped the Nebo model with only the battery holder, that brings some confusion for our backers that they need to find the correct battery. And
Mm,
sometimes they don't, then the robot just don't move.
right.
So this time we just take the troubles and responsibilities on ourselves and designed this battery. It can be slided on the bottom of Bittle, and with some DIY modifications, it can also slide underneath Nibble. And it's easier to switch because now it has a plug on it. That means you could have two
Oh,
and charge one and play with one,
that's
so you
super.
won't be interrupted. The problem with this battery is one, it needs to go through some certificates before shipping internationally.
Mm,
Two, because it has two lithium battery codes in the battery, so there
mhm,
need to be some pairing.
right.
And good pairing means you need to have a large sample of the battery.
Hmm.
So the MOQ, minimum of uh,
Order quantity?
quantity,
Yeah.
yeah, from our manufacturer is 5,000 units.
Mm-hmm.
5,000 units of batteries. That means even if we only sold like 700 units during our campaign, we need
Uh-huh.
we need to have that amount of battery in our warehouse.
Wow.
And it's an investment and also dangerous battery.
Right.
Yeah, so dangerous.
So these obviously are incredibly engineered. You say that Bittle itself is designed not for children, but for sort of adult creators. Who's your sort of target audience here?
Um, yes, actually, for Nibble, we should have included that notice in the product page, because for all the models of OpenCat, I don't want people treat them as simple toys, remote control toys. Then it's like um, it won't get its best value out for people. So I hope people can learn like how to assemble a robot from scratch and how to connect the electronic components, how to program, and furthermore, how to develop new skills or functionalities on it. So I'm still more targeted with experienced students, engineers, professors, or makers who are willing to spend time on this little guy
Hmm.
and learn something and share what they learn to our community.
There's another part in here that I wanted to highlight
Yeah.
about the not only the fact that Bittle is very resilient against collisions and falls and things, although it's not waterproof, as you say. The fact that it's designed to fail in specific points that are designed to be cheap and
Yes.
easy to reinstall or replace, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It meshes so well with the ideology of repairability and the idea that if you own something, you should be able to repair it. So I really admire that.
Yeah. So first, this case is made of a good combination of strength and elasticity. So if I step on it very hard using my foot, it won't break.
Wow.
And the second, like, it won't break. And second is like for this structure, the upper leg, I have this servo arm. Well, by the way, this servo arm is also injection molded.
Hmm.
It will be slided into the track of this leg, and it will, it's better demonstrate. It can slide within it with the structure of the spring.
Oh,
It will
yeah.
slide. And if we push it harder and add some moment, it may um, break in the middle, or simply first the structure will unlock by itself, so the force will be released. And if it fails to do so, then finally this little piece may break,
Hmm.
but we will have replacement for it.
That's so cool. So it's like
Yeah,
multiple levels. First, it's really resilient. Secondly, it would sort of disassemble itself if it gets crunched. And then thirdly, it's designed to fail in an easy and replaceable way. That's so
yeah,
cool!
yeah. In the previous experiences, we sometimes by accident fell from the height of my shoulder or something.
Hmm.
It didn't break. or just disassembled, and we just put them together.
So we've talked a lot about the design of the devices themselves. One thing I'm curious about is that you ran this previous campaign on Indiegogo for Nibble, and now you're doing one on Kickstarter for Bittle. I'm curious what you have learned from the first campaign that you're applying to this one. Basically,
Yes.
right now.
Yes. I think the first one was successful and was also the beginning of my project as a business, because I started it, as you know, in 2016. Just locked myself in my bedroom lab and building all this stuff. And when I woke up, I was like sleeping, dreaming when making all this stuff. When I woke up, I just realized that I have already put so much efforts in this robot, but will people love it, or will I be able to make a living from it? So in 2018, I started the Indiegogo campaign with the help of some of my friends. They had the experiences in running such kind of campaign. Basically, it was their help. They directed me, taught me how to prepare the product page, how to pitch to people, and how to schedule or arrange the project as a company. Yes. So I learned a lot from them, and the most important was I did raise some money to pay for the production and pay for the delivery for people, and I got the feedback from people and the support from people that brings me or encouraged me to continue on. And so after I returned China, basically I moved to Zhongguan and Shenzhen to find the manufacturers, lived with them, and for the fulfillment of Nibble and also for the development of Bittle. So this time I'm launching this Kickstarter campaign by myself, and I think it's running well so far.
Yeah, it's incredible to me that you were worried about whether people would love the robot, because everyone does. Everyone loves the robot. We look at the page and you're already at nearly 4 times your goal with a month left to go. This is so cool. People are just banging down your door. And so based on the obvious success of people loving Nibble and now Bittle, what do you think you would build next? Do you have any other ones that you're thinking about? Obviously, you're probably focused completely on this one for now, but if you were going to make a next robot, what kind of animal would it be? Or would it be something totally new?
Yes, so I think the ideal robot, I think you have already seen it. So it was the original black cat. Okay, let me bring it here.
Oh! We get to see the open cat. I'm going to show you all that one really quick. This was the first one that Rongzhong published on Hackster back in February 2018. And I think, oh, here we go.
So this thing was made in 2017.
Oh, wow.
And now I only have 1 or 2 assembled models, because other models are just like trash in my full box. And by the way, I throw a lot when I was moving from the US to China. Yeah. So this robot is basically like have the most degrees of freedom, so it can rotate on the shoulder. So it has more degree of freedom than Bittle or Nibble. Yeah, and it has elastic structures all around this body.
Wow.
Yeah, and it has this rig to be a keyboard. You can play music on it.
Wait,
Yes.
are they touch sensitive, or is it just like it physically responds?
It's capacitive.
No way!
Yeah, simply touch will make it work. And I think finally I will make this product, but so far, currently this is too complex to make. To build this, I remember it took me about 1 week to 3D print and polish, sanding, assembling. And I think my current path is all preparing for this robot. For example, when I'm designing Nibble, I was able to find people to work with me to design this
Mm.
PCB. That means I no longer need to solder all the components to to a breadboard. That's basically how I made this black hat. So this PCB alone can save me about 1 day's job. And then I was able to make people realize servos can be made for quadruped robot. That means a lot for the manufacturers of servos
Mm.
because imagine if people sell 1 unit of this robot, the servo manufacturer can sell 8 servos at
Right, yeah.
least. Yeah, so they are very excited with this project and was very willing to provide help to me. So actually, I'm now living right in the factory of a servo manufacturer.
Wow.
They are, they are just providing free accommodation and free office for me. That's that's great helpful for me because I'm basically have no money on my bank now. All is put into this little dog. Yeah. And the boss of the factory is also a fan, super fan for robots. On his shelf, you can see basically all the robots you have seen on his shelf. He collects all these robots.
That's cool. So you're
Yeah.
really being supported by the people that you're buying from, and specifically the servo people. So speaking of custom built servos and things, Jessica of Hackster, hey Jessica, says everything seems custom made. Do you sell replacement accessory packs too? I'm guessing that means including like the extra servo arms and things.
Yes, yes. So first, for these plastic parts, I'm very confident with them. I don't think they will break very easily. And for the servo arms and other little accessories, I will provide extra units or spare units. For example, we use 9 servo arms for each robot, but I will include about 12 servo
Oh,
arms in each kit. And like for springs, I will provide extra. Um, the most difficult part may be the servo
mm,
because we are still using brushed servos. And brush servos means it has contacts in the motor, and when it rotates, the motor will be worn out after a period of use. So my solution is we will include one spare servo in the package, and also we will keep providing replacement for these servos because making these servos is also expensive. I need to make injecting injection modes for these servos. That
mhm.
means since we have already put so much into this servo, it won't be just a one-time product. I expect it to last for several years.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we will keep producing this for replacement.
That's so cool. So you're continuing to support it even into the future. Um,
Yes.
on the Kickstarter page, it says you can program Bittle at different levels in various coding environments. So even though it's not designed for children, it's not designed to be a toy. It's designed to be sort of an engineering tool for people to explore robotics. So you can program it in C in the Arduino IDE, which is still very friendly for people who are not very familiar with robotics, and Python in the terminal if someone's already good at software. Presumably they know some Python you can get going. You can do a graphical coding environment that's similar to Make Code or Scratch. So many options. And you're
Yes.
going to get a free curriculum for it as well.
Yeah. So by the way, this curriculum is we collaborated with Tinkergen, and you may have not heard of it, but it's a daughter company of Seed Studio.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so they have this educational department to provide the programming environment for younger children with the graphical coding interface, and they call it CodeCraft. So basically, we provide the software and hardware of Bittle, and they adjust their curriculum and coding environment to make a graphical coding interface.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so as you mentioned, we got another question about the open source. The software is open source, and it can do incredible things. So previously, I remember Nibble, just like you have the robot standing on like a wooden platform, and then you would like rotate the platform around, and the robot would adjust all of its legs in order to balance. Oh, you're gonna do it! Oh yeah! This is my favorite demo with this one. It's incredible. So you can see it dynamically adjusting its stance in order.
And it's quite fast, right?
Wow. That's so cool. So you'll be able to do that. Rongzhong mentioned earlier that due to the manufacturing costs and the amount that's been put into getting all these custom injection molded parts and things, right now the hardware parts are not open source. But you know, if you got one of these, you can in theory design your own pieces around it.
Oh, and by the way, although we are not open sourcing it, but it's actually quite easy for people to copy the design or redesign. So if you go to Thingiverse, the 3D model sharing website, you can find some fan-made models
Oh,
of
cool.
Bittle. And we don't forbid people to reproduce. It's just we don't want some copycats to easily get our design files and become compatible for us.
Right.
Compatible for us.
You don't, yeah.
Yes, you can find all this, and you're free to use for non-commercial use.
Ha ha ha. Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're recouping your costs, but at the same time being very friendly to people who are just trying to learn. And this is that Make to Learn site mentioned before in the Kickstarter. So speaking of community, down here you've got a forum. If you want to follow the project, you can go on Instagram, Petoy Camp. Same thing on Twitter. Oh, wait, is that your cat?
It was my home roommate's cat.
Oh, amazing. So yeah, if you want to follow the project, if you want to get involved, you can go to petoy.com/forum. We'll put these links in the description. And Rongzhong, is there anywhere else that people should go to follow you or watch your future things? Oh, actually, obviously, Hackster. We've got the original OpenCat project that you published back in 2018, as well as Nibble. You can follow Rongzhong here. We'll put that link again in the description to the video.
Yeah, and for the community part, there's some exciting news or plan for this little dog. So starting from this dog, because it's kind of standardized model, right? That means after people receive it, it's basically identical. That makes it possible for some challenge for all the Bittle users. So we will announce some competitions in the community. For example, let's set some goal. Let Bittle climb up a certain step, and we will compete on the height of the step that it can go up to. And we will have a world record, obviously, right? So every time the world record breaker will get an award from us, and it will be a free Bittle.
Wow! So if you break the world record on the highest step it can go up,
then or it could be other fun topics. For example, how far it can get over a gap, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we will think about all these funny, interesting goals, but there will be some requirement. That means if you can, first you need to take video to prove that you made it. Second, you need to teach us how you made it. Yeah. So in this way, we can both encourage people to complete this challenge and also share his knowledge with us.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're nearing the end of our segment. Is there anything that you'd like to point out or highlight or throw in there before we wrap up?
Well, I will become a salesperson. So our campaign is still live on Kickstarter. So I need your shares, a share of the page to your friends. No, not necessarily backing the project, but just let more people to know about our exciting product, and maybe they will like it and support us.
Yeah, honestly, you're doing your friends a
Yeah.
favor because, as we mentioned, everyone loves this robot.
Thank
So
you.
help your friends out, give them a share, and yeah, thank you again, Rongzhong, for joining us. This was so fabulous, and it's a great way. Here it's morning, there it's night, but it's a great way for me to start my day with a dose of robotics. Thank you again, and best
Thank
of
you
luck.
again. Yeah. So
Cheers.
for me, good night. Yeah.
Good night, and congratulations. Amazing.
Mhm.
Ciao.
Okay.